slightly strange evening. A couple minutes late. Any of you guys might be checking out the stream right now. Not entirely sure. Yeah, looks like a couple of you guys are chilling here already. Okay. High encoding, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. My mic is a bit soft. It shouldn't be. I have my mic all the way turned up. But there's another thing I can do actually. But first of all, I think this. We'll go here. Oh look, no helmet. Alright, and let's actually not do this. We're gonna go, what's this? There we go. That's what we want. And turn on that camera. There you go. A little something like that, maybe. And we'll just turn that off for now. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. And, oh, we need this. Okay. Oh, my monitor captures like that. That's why. Okay, cool. Alright. We'll move that over here. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late tonight, guys. A couple minutes late on the stream, so appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Yeah, you might want to try and turn up the volume. The volume should be pretty good, actually. Should be pretty alright. Should we turn that off too? Let's just turn that off also. Let's just do this stuff here really quick. And let's see. Fit the screen. We can just go like that, and we'll shrink me down just a little bit like this. How's that? Okay, cool. If you guys want, go ahead and hit Facebook. Let people know a little bit. You know, I hit the Facebook earlier before I left this morning, to let people know about the stream and stuff like that. And this will be something that I'll try and do every once in a while. As you guys know, I've been pretty busy making plenty of YouTube videos as of late and everything. This time without the helmet. Look, no helmet. It's more or less just for like kind of the YouTube videos and stuff, whatever's sort of stuff. But tonight I'll end up using this also on my general YouTube videos as well. So I'm just going to try and go through for a little bit some of the stuff that I do, because I spend a lot of time with my drums when I do percussion and do drum kit construction and stuff like that. I put a lot of time into my drums, a whole lot of time into my drums, kicks, everything, tuning them. And tonight I'm going to show you guys some of the techniques that I use when I'm constructing up a drum kit, and maybe show you guys a few different ideas on how I put them together and everything. So if you guys can, you know, hit your friends list, let people know about the let you people know if you have any friends and stuff like that on Facebook or friends list, you know, hit them up, let them know that the stream is up and stuff. And you know, if we get enough people to hang out here on occasion and everything, you know, we'll try and make this a regular thing. Alright, we have Ableton, because I like working in Ableton. In fact, that's all I generally will work in, is in Ableton. I seem to really like Ableton, so no offense to anybody that uses Cubase or Fruity Loops or any other number of available DAWs these days. Okay, and we're going to go to baddies. I'm going to be primarily working with my Kicks of Destiny set that I constructed, and it's right here, and it has all kinds of different stuff, kicks, snares, some stems. Okay, so this is kind of the stuff that I'll be working with and everything. In case you two don't know or haven't seen, this is what the Kicks of Destiny kit kind of more or less looks like. And I have it for purchase for like 15 bucks, but I spent a shit ton of time building these, and you can actually hear them in action on the recent album track that I released called Abstractus, and it's just a single track, and is kind of actually one of the first tracks that used the kicks and snares and the transients and stuff like that that I'll be going through tonight with some of these things. But not only just this package that I'm talking about, but I'm also going to show you how, transients really make kind of a very unique possibility for what you're doing. And there's a whole bunch of little snaps and snares and stuff. And I mean, I think, frankly, like a good 75% of a good song is actually in the beats. It's in the rhythm, it's in the kicks, it's in the hats, it's in the snares. It's how you use those elements that I think are incredible when it comes to percussion and how it's created, especially in electronic music and stuff. But if you go back even, before electronic music, of course, there was rock bands, right? I don't know if there's any rock bands anymore. Are there rock bands still today? I don't know. But when I used to mess around and hang around with different rock bands or metal bands and stuff like that, in my earlier day, a very big part of stage setup and everything like that, and rehearsals, and just going in, even in studio and everything, tuning drums, and it's a really, really big deal, and it's one of those things that are like incredibly underestimated when it comes to electronic music. And it's like I hear some electronic music these days, and it's just like, what the hell? Like some of these songs that I hear coming out in electronic music are good, but the drums, they don't work. They're not tuned properly. But still good music. I mean, you get away with some stuff and everything like that, but I mean, when you have drums that are somewhere in an F and you're playing in A minor sort of key of a track, it's just, some people just don't have a grasp of, exactly how it's kind of done. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start first with a couple of ways that you can set up drum kits. Okay, now you'll see, insert audio track, you'll see some guys, they'll go and they'll make a set like this. They'll just use audio tracks, and it's kind of one way you can do it. I personally don't generally do this, but you see a lot of people doing this sort of thing. They'll take that like right there, and then I don't know, they'll take a snare. Let's take a snare. And then we'll put it on 3. Okay, and they'll go in, and they'll work like this, whatever. Hey, turn that loop on. Okay, so some guys will go ahead and they'll just go ahead and create their shit like this, which is okay. I mean, I've seen some guys, I've seen guys do this for a very long time, and I think that it's pretty acceptable. It's fine. It does give you a little bit more control as far as like not having to mess with MIDI or go into I'm going to go ahead and insert a MIDI track. Okay, so this is like one way that some people will do things, and they'll go ahead and put a kick here, and they'll put that right here. Let's just actually go a little bit further. Insert another audio track here really quick, and then I don't know. Let's just use something chintzy here really quick. Where's my transients at? Where'd my transients go? Oh, okay. Okay. And they'll go like this. Let's reduce this down just a lot. So that's kind of one way that they can do it. Actually, I don't even like the way that sounds. Wait 1 second. Let's fix this. It's irritating me. There we go. We'll do that. Get rid of this. See, this is why I don't like working this way. This is why I don't like working this way. Is because you end up... bring it up 4. There we go. Because if you want to make changes... I mean, you can always do that, but I mean, I don't know. But say that's like a typical 1-3 that you're seeing right here, by the way. So that's a 1-3. Kick goes on the 1. Snare goes on the 3. And that's typical in dubstep, even in trap. And you'll also find, like in trap sometimes too. I'll push it out to the 1-4. And you know, so the trap is a really kind of fluid thing of drums. But 1 and 4, sometimes I'll push it out like this, or they'll go like this. And it comes out a couple of bars. Let's just do a cool trap beat. I don't know. Actually, let's get rid of this right here. So, I mean, you could build things out like that, and that's fine and good. I don't generally like to do it too much. But that's one method that a lot of people produce with. And I'm starting here on the very basic level. If you experienced with electronic music production and stuff like that, then, you know, that's pretty elementary stuff. We're going to get more advanced later on in a little bit, so don't you worry. Now, the next thing, and this is what I generally do as a rule of thumb when I work with my music, is I'll take a drum rack and I'll duplicate it. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. And duplicate it. Okay. And we'll rename that. This will be our kicks. And the reason why I like doing it this way, what the fuck? Where did it go? Okay. Rename kicks. Okay. And then we can rename this snares. Okay. Some of you might see where I'm going here. And hats. Okay. And this, a lot of guys will produce like this too. Okay, and you'll have your kicks basically in one drum rack, your snares in another, and this gives you the ability to go, if you use, like, if there's different parts of a song, right, it gives you a lot more control as far as being able to decide to change what you want to do. You know, some guys just don't like mucking around in drum rack. I don't understand why, but I mean, no, I actually don't understand why. I'm not even going to bother. Some guys just prefer to work with sound files like this, but a better way to do things, I think, is to, you know, basically use drum rack and, you know, get your kicks and alright, so then you would have like 3 different kicks, like right here, you know, or 2. Let's go with 2. So those are pretty okay. Fuck, let me turn this thing on here. Turn that on. Right there. Ah. What's going on here? Alright. Let's fix this here really quick. Alright. There we go. Had to turn on my launch pad. My little launch pad. Okay, so then you get 2 kicks. And then you could probably get, like, I don't know, 2 snares or whatever. And that's generally how I like to do things. because you get a lot more control this way when you actually construct your drums using a drum kit. Now, if you're going to be playing live or something like that, then this might not be a good idea, because you're not going to be able to trigger your snares and stuff like that. You'll only be able to trigger one thing. You know, like, so, like, I'm triggering my kicks right here, then I have to hit the record and hit those out and then do my hats, you know. So this is more of a setup. See, this might be a little bit more conducive. Well, you can't even use that setup for a live performance anyway. So, you know, it's one of those sort of things. Now, another thing that, you know, you can do is you can set up another MIDI track if you want, if you're setting up for live. Okay, I don't really recommend doing it this way, but if you must, then of course you go back and you take drum rack, right? And then with that, you could go and you could put like your snare here, second snare here, you know, go get your kick, whatever. You know, and then you can get on. So, you know, that's the way you would probably do a configuration if you were going to sit there and beat on your MIDI instrument, you know, while you're playing. And one guy that is phenomenal when it comes to beating on MIDI instrument like an APC 40 would be Arab Music, if you've ever heard of him. That's ARAABMUSIK, I think. And unfortunately, he was recently shot in New Jersey last week, which is very terrible. You know, but at any rate, he's one of the masterminds when it comes to playing MIDI percussively in live performance, and he's worked with Busta Rhymes, for example. And he's done numerous projects, but he is a master when it comes to getting triggers, MIDI triggers going on with sound samples. The guy's a genius. He's on YouTube. You can check it out. So these are the kind of the three ways that you can actually set up for live. For live performance anyway, you could set up a drum rack and then put your kicks and your snares on one rack. Dylan Rourke, how's it going, man? The other way, for production values, which I think is the best, is set up a drum rack with kicks, and then another drum rack with snares, and another drum rack with hats. So that's how you would kind of do that. And then some guys prefer to do it this way on a production level, you know, but I don't like doing audio clips per se when it comes to that sort of thing. But as of late, I've actually been kind of doing it because it allows me to do a couple of different things. But there's advantages and disadvantages. At any rate, okay, so that's the kind of the different ways that you can set up. Dylan Rourke, why are you crying? Sad that upset about Arab Music being shot. Yeah, I like that kid since I first heard of him, man. He's a genius. He's a genius when it comes to he's just good. He's just good at it. All right, so now here's another thing I wanted to talk about during this stream too, is sound samples and their qualities. It's good. Sad to hear about Arab. Yeah, dude. Yeah, if you know who I'm talking about, and you've seen what he does, dude, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to get into, maybe some of you guys may have seen me on Facebook kind of rant about sound samples, you know, and the quality of sound samples and stuff. And I'm going to give you guys some ideas about what a good sound sample, and again, it comes down to, why do I have to yell over you guys? Please? Okay, so quality of sound sample is very important. Okay, and I kind of freaked out over on Facebook about bad sound samples and stuff like that. And I'm going to give you guys an example of a bad sound sample. Okay, and I'm not going out of my way to talk shit or anything like that, but this is an example of a very bad sound sample. Let's take a look at this. Okay, and this is a very bad sound sample right here. All right, some would argue that it's okay, and it depends on artistic expression. But see how the sound sample's peaking up here and hitting and going over? Okay, and when you reduce the actual sound of the sample, the damage is already done to the sample with this edging. See here? So when this snare was created, I haven't even heard it. But let's solo it. You know, the kick itself, it ain't bad, but it doesn't give you much flexibility. I mean, like to a sound engineer would probably stab himself in the neck with a pencil before trying to work with a sound file that's like that. This is a really, generally not acceptable. A lot of guys, it's a damaged sound file basically, and some people go for that damaged sound. You can do that. It's not against the rules or anything, but for your own control of your production, you can really want to pay attention to that. And it's not like mine's all perfect either. I'm not trying to say that or anything, but I'm saying that this sound sample versus this one, you got a lot of problems with it. It either wasn't normalized right, or exported right, or something, and it's relatively easy to do because I've made thousands of samples, drum samples in particular, and this is one thing when I get like sample kits and stuff like that, or free download kicks and stuff like that, because you find them, and there you go. They're just like, you always tend to get these sometimes in those sort of free packs that are available, almost anywhere, and I frankly hate them. I don't like sound files that have this sort of thing. If I want to brick my kicks or something like this, I'll do it myself. You know what I mean? I'll do it myself. But not everybody has that. Not everybody generally wants to tolerate or deal with that sort of thing too much. So anyways, here's my pretty kick. Isn't it excellent? I'm just kidding. But you get the idea of what I'm going at with this. So, and this is one of my own kicks that, again, is in my Kicks of Destiny pack and stuff like that. And if I want, I can take my own file and I could damage it myself. But for mastering purposes and stuff, you want to consider the mix down. You want to consider the mix down process and the mastering process when you do producing. If you're looking for that harder edge sound and you want a little bit of grublets going on in your kicks and stuff, then you have the alternative, at least with the samples that I make, to knock them out yourself, to crunch them out the way you like. But with the sound sample that I just demonstrated to you, you can't reduce the sound on it and still keep control of its body, for example. I'll show you guys the samples again, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Shit, fuck, god damn it. God damn it, no, fuck. Let's just put it right here. Okay, so like I showed you with mine, I can put mine over the edge right here. Okay, if I wanted to for my own artistic reasons or whatever, and compress the shit out of it, and however you want to do it. But I don't generally compress until much later in the process of when I'm producing. But if you got this track and you're like, this kick is so good, and then you're like, well, it's a little too rough, and then you want to be able to have that control, because all you're doing here, it's the same sound, you're just reducing the volume. You know what I mean? Here, I'll go. Okay. And that's fine and all, but it still sounds rough. But if you take a sample like this, alright, get a nice clean tone going with it. And if you want to fuck it up, there you go. At least you have the choice. You know, but with sound samples like this, you don't really have the choice. So when you choose a sound sample to use in your music, don't make this sort of mistake. And especially during the mix down process, when the engineer or somebody that's processing your sound comes to you and says, hey, this kick, I'm having a problem. 9 times out of 10, they'll have a problem with that kick. All right, because it doesn't have the, it just won't signal out right. I'll just put it that way. It won't signal out right, and denies a lot of control when you might not need it. So, all right. At any rate, now I also built this system here, and in my kit that I built and have available, of course, for $15. But where is it? It's called Kicks of Destiny. Come on, let's find it. JK Kicks of Destiny. I went and recorded a whole bunch of stems. All kinds of not stems, transients. Okay. And the next part about what I'm going to talk to you guys about is making your own shit, making your own sounds. And I think that a lot of producers, honestly, don't take the time to really boil into their percussion. They find a sound file that they really like. They don't care what note it is in. They eventually force it, and eventually I think what happens is they build into it. And you know, in that, you know, if that's their creative process, that's fine. But when you bring in new elements into a track, okay, you're not just introducing an element. When you introduce an element to a track, in my opinion anyway, the way I treat it, it's very important. It's so important. All right, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Okay, but I'll go and look at it like this, make sure that it's okay, sound-wise, you know, or you know what kind of controls it. Is it broken a little bit? All kinds of shit, you know, and that's just kind of how I am, right? So, and it should be no small deal when it comes to introducing any sound into a track that you're producing. You want to know what key it is in. I mean, you know, where it's at, frequency-wise. So let's just let's go into frequencies for music really quick. Okay. And this is generally how I do it. And some of you guys may have paid attention to a chart I made, which should be this chart here, and I already have a video on it, and it's basically how to cut out your kicks and everything like that, or how to cut out your percussion and where your frequencies should hit. So take a look at that chart. I have a video on it at any rate. So we got this little deal here, and it's just like whatever. There's one of them that's out of tune, but whatever. Okay, so right here, this is what we're looking at. See the high point? The high point right there? This is a D minor. The hat is currently in D minor at 9K. Alright, so what I do, it's a D minor, and D minor is not generally something that you would have. It's not something that you would do, okay, generally speaking. So, I'm going to take this guy right here, and you can transpose. I'm showing you guys basically one way of doing this. Eventually, I'm gonna also probably go into how to do it inside of a drum rack. This is why I don't like generally working with sound files in this sort of format during a production. I just don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good about myself. I feel dirty doing it. Let's get rid of this here. So we're going to take this little guy. We'll just let it go. And okay, this one's Oh, okay, because it's not. All right, see here. This one here is a D. Yeah, D minor. Okay, because I had them both tuned differently. Okay, let's take this one here, for example, though. See that high point on there? So that's in C, which is fine. And I think I even have it probably notated as a C. But generally C is not a good area, frequency-wise. But the good thing about C is it's very flexible-wise to do it. So if it's in C right now, we'll go ahead and move it 2 up. We can give it to like right there, 2 up, and I think that's an E. Okay, it should be at E now. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Sounds like an E. We'll find out. Oh, okay. Went to a D, D7. Oh, I was off by just a hair. Frequency tuning. Practice it. It's actually quite challenging. Okay, so we need to go up about another 2 steps. About another 2 steps. 1, 2. That sounds too high. Let's take a look again. No, it's right on the mark with an E. Okay. So I mean that's kind of one way to do it, and that's doing it without even any cuts. If you notice what I did there, kind of, and that's just by transposing the sound file. You know, that had to go up 4 because it was a C. C is not generally a good spot, frequency-wise. C's a good spot for kicks. C's pretty okay for kicks, but generally in percussion, I'm going to go back to rock and music, drum and kick sort of tuning, is the snares, hats, toms. You know, those elements should all be tuned to work together, you know, especially in different parts of a song. Particularly with rock music that sometimes and occasionally expresses key changes. So that's why you might have like you'll see drum sets with all these fucking drums all over the place, right? All over, and there's like snares and hats and 20 different toms. You ever seen like the kit for Tool? That's what I'm talking about. All right, the kit for Tool is probably a pretty good example of a kit that is so fucking tuned out it would make your head spin. All right, but that kit is used for different songs or different areas of the track, or any given songs that they're doing. So it's kind of a good idea to keep in mind that you want to tune your snares, you want to tune your hats, you want to tune your kicks. And I try and do this is like the first stuff that I do when I produce a song. When I produce a song, I'll go and get my sounds for my kicks and make a whole set, just percussive wise. I won't touch any VSTs, I won't touch any synths, I won't nothing. It's just the kicks, you know. Find the pockets in the kicks, and you know, that's how I do it. And maybe some of you guys might be wondering, but like I say, you know, I think percussion in a song is a good 70% of the track. It establishes everything for a song. It is sincerely one of the most important. Okay, so now that we have this little thingy going on here, and we know that it is an E, right? What I'll go and do, actually, is I'll notate where it's at too, because I'm a freak. Alright, so I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call this hat E7. Okay, because that tells me the tuning on the hat. Very easy. Okay, now to sculpt it, I'll just go briefly into the sculpting. Alright, so for hats, hat frequencies, generally you want them pretty bright, 6,000 to 12,000 hertz or whatever, and a lot of the content is up here. So we got this one right here. There's some content all the way kind of too far over actually. So what we'll do is we'll go to 3 and get this little guy here. We can go harsh, we can go low. I'll just kind of, we'll just shave off a lot. that just brings off everything right there. Just roll it all off, fuck it, you know. And then let's stop that. Okay, let's do the same thing for the kick. And we'll put an EQ8 on the kick. Now, if you have other plugins, you know, a lot of people like the Fab Filter set, Fab Filter and everything like that for EQing. And I think Fab Filter is probably better than, you know, the base Ableton EQ, but don't underestimate EQ8. Another thing, too, when you're EQing, very important, I'm sorry, I almost forgot. Here, on EQ8, you have your bass 8, like right here, but if you right-click, generally, if you're really going for a good production, make sure that you right-click on your EQ8 and click oversampling. Alright, that gives you more sampling. That gives you a little bit better fidelity, basically, for what you're doing. Okay, let's get this drum. So we have hat at an E7, and the kick I'm going to generally keep in C, somewhere in C. Let's solo it. Take a look at the content. G. I just look for the high point is generally what I do. So it's about G. Not bad. Alright, so it's kind of high. I still want to roll some off, though, on it. I still want to roll some off. It's particularly if you're, like, doing... it depends on the genre of music that you're working with, okay? If you're working with drum and bass, you don't want any of this. You want nice and short. And you can almost roll it to a C and bring it up. Right there. So it sounds a little bit higher. I bring this down to allow more content. And then I'll take the 6 and tighten that up. We don't really need that too much. So that's nice and happy. And another thing that you'll notice is these over here. Okay. Notice how they're not red. See how it's not red? Isn't that beautiful? You don't generally want it red. And it's also, I think this kick is at, I think I have it at minus 3 dB when I exported it. So it looks like about minus 3 dB because it was there. But at any rate, we could bring it back up, 0. So that's kind of nice. That's kind of pretty okay. Let me bring this over here. Let's get this little guy. What is that anyway? Is that my snare? Okay, oh shit. I would probably, I'm gonna go and call this kick an E. Let's see, E. It's bouncing. Well, don't want to force it too much. But that's definitely an E kick, which isn't good. There we go. See the difference? Bring in some of the bottom end, roll off that, and then get it to the C. That'll work. I can deal with that. Alright. So let's find out what this one's all about here. Solo it up. put an EQ on it. Examine the frequency range, and this looks like a C. And generally, you know, this is actually, I think it's just one of my, oh, it is one of my pre-made snares. Okay, that's fine. Oh, what the hell? Okay, zoom in here. Okay, yeah, so I have it at C, which is fine, but let's go for E, just for science, because science. So we got E about right here. So that would be dropping it. Again, it depends on what kind of song we're going to build. Here's another little high point over here. I kind of too far, but well, we can go for A. I think A would probably be good. So let's go here and A. Did I transpose my kick? I did transpose my kick. I don't want to transpose my kick. All right, let's shape this fucker up. I'm sorry. Okay, C. And go to A. That's a couple of steps. Gone to a B. I don't think this thing's going to handle going to A. There's ways around this. Let's just take a look here. That's alright, I guess. So, not very good so far, not very good. But we can, like I said, we can move it over to being a dubsteppy thingy. So we'll move this over to 1-3. And we'll get another 1-3 here in the same tuning. Double kick right there. And these manipulations are basically done by holding your control key down. Highlight, control. So that's kind of one way to do it, and kind of tune your drums a little bit. Might help you out a little, guys. Help you guys out a little bit in that sort of way. What are we at? 8:58. About an hour stream. I don't see any of you guys on. Anybody in here? Doesn't matter if there is or not. But let's see how many viewers. How many viewers we got here? How many viewers? Looks like only one, maybe. Which is fine. Gotta start somewhere. Which is me. Okay, that's fine. Fine. I don't care. All right. So yeah, that's kind of the general deals. When it comes to at least a little bit of tuning, looking at a sound file, and examining what you're going to do. It's about an hour, so I think I'm gonna, since we don't have many people hanging out, which is fine. This will be going up on my YouTube channel anyway, so if you're watching this on YouTube after the live stream, you know, hit the subscribe button. There will be more. I think on the next video, which I'll put up tomorrow. We'll do another one tomorrow, I think. Probably same time for just an hour. And we're going to get into using the drum rack and such things. Okay, so we'll get into drum rack tomorrow. Today I think we covered a little bit some basics for looking at sound files, tuning a drums basically. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. I just wanted to kind of go through some of the basics and stuff like that as far as setting up. Tomorrow, I think what we'll cover tomorrow is setting up drum racks. Okay, drum racks should be pretty easy. And tomorrow, I think what I want to cover is actual drum synthesis, because drum synthesis, this is the next stream, which I'll do tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific time, is I will make a kick from scratch. A kick from scratch. And I'll show you guys how to do that, and I'll show you how to make a snare from scratch, and I'll show you how to make a hat from scratch. So, a hat from scratch. That'll be on tomorrow, around 8 p.m. Pacific time. I wanted to do a couple of giveaways for people that watch the stream, but there ain't anybody here. So, it's going to go on YouTube, and which is fine. This is first probably of many little streams, live component clips that I'm going to be doing for the channel and everything like that, guys. So tell a friend about the stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow around 8 p.m. Pacific time. Dark Sock out. Peace.